Oh, okay. Well, it's not good to have secrets from your husband, but hot dogs, hot dogs. I know, I know. I'm not proud. I'm not proud. Well, they're kosher. Does that help? Oh, I don't do Hebrew National. People think Hebrew National is kosher. It's I don't. It's not Glock kosher. That's for sure. No, Hebrew National. No, I wouldn't eat it. Yeah. All right. Then we're going live here. All right. Well, I wouldn't eat it. I'm not. Whatever. And I'm not going to get involved. If it's kosher for you, then. Oh, really? That's interesting. Huh. Oh, look, we're live on Instagram. Hey guys, shalom, welcome aboard. Rabbi Raps here. We're going to start talk about the weekly Torah portion. Let's do a little quick hello to the Jew crew, those that are here in person, those that are here on Zoom, those that are here in person, those that are here on social media. Uh, who's watching? Where are you watching from? We got to know where our people are. Jill, welcome aboard. Um, who else is here? Akiva, welcome. Wildflower '08, good to have you here. Why is this crooked? Yes. Oh, different kind. Well, there is only one kind of kosher, really, but some people are a little stricter when it comes to kosher. Most of the symbols are just like different rabbis, different organizations. It's not really one's kosher, one's not kosher. Like, for example, the Circle U and the Circle K is probably the most famous kosher certifications. And then you have the Chaf, it looks like a backward C with a K in it. That's a big one. Triangle K, and I don't use it. I don't want to, badmouth the kosher, but I don't personally use that. And then there's just a bajillion other ones. But the strictest kosher you could find in the world is called Vad Atlantic. Yes, in our area. That's because that's my kosher symbol. It just says Vad Atlantic on it. And all we certify is 3 items. So you probably won't ever see it, put it that way. Yes. So within dairy, there's something called Chalav Yisrael. And what that means is that a Jewish person was present at the time of the milking, observing and supervising the situation. Um, Me personally, I only eat or drink dairy. That is Chalav Yisrael. Hard to get it around here, very easy to get it in Lakewood. Um, and then there's something called with bread. There's something called Pas Yisrael when it comes to kosher, and that is that a bakery you could technically go in once a year and you could say it's kosher because like what is it? Flour, water? I mean, what is it already? It's kosher, right? So, but for me, I require that the rabbi's hand or a Jewish person's hands involved in the baking. For many organizations, it's enough that you simply turn on the oven. So I certify a big kosher bakery, and I know those ovens never go off. And they tell me if they shut it off, I have to come and light the oven again. These are ovens that go years at a time. They're the size of, I don't know, like tractor trailers. That's what the oven looks like. Yeah, and they're a conveyor belt. Um, but I go in once a month and I adjust the oven just in case, whatever. That's called Pas Yisrael, and I require Pas Yisrael too. So you could go to any store and get kosher bread, but for more traditional Jews, kosher bread's not enough. It needs to be kosher and Pas Yisrael, where the rabbi's hand was involved in the baking. Hopefully not too much, because what do rabbis know about baking? I'm just kidding. Let's see who's with us. Genuine question. Is it okay to spit on Christians? Do some Jews condemn it? So you listen, I just want, I get a lot of hate messages, but I don't believe that this message is hateful at all, because I've seen videos of Orthodox people spitting on Jews in Israel. I'm sorry, I've seen videos of Orthodox Jews spitting on Christians in Israel. I'm not going to tell you that's something that first of all, I don't condone this, and no one I know condones this, but there's some very extreme groups that are very angry about what happened in history. And so when they see someone holding a cross or something, they spit at it to show a thing of disgust. Unacceptable behavior. We have to treat people with respect. We have to treat people with dignity. Every single person is a human being, a spark of God. Now, we don't have to agree on the religion per se, but we have to treat people with respect. Love your fellow like you love yourself. So I'm completely against any such behavior, and I don't think it should be encouraged. And I think, and yes, I will speak up against it. All right. So yeah, and for the person who asked the question, there may be a couple bad apples, but I literally don't know a Jewish person, and I know thousands of Jewish people that would do that. So I just don't know anyone. I know no one in this group would do it. I know no one in my yeshiva, my rabbinical community that I grew up with would do it. We work together with the clergy in our community. Mike's going to grab it. What's that? It's an extension of the blood libel. But what do you mean by that? Yeah. Right. It's a modern day blood libel. Look, I'm not going to tell you everyone's good and everyone's respectful. Absolutely. We've got what? How many million? 15 million people? Going to be a couple rotten apples. Yeah. Anyway, so let's just see a couple more of these questions, and then we're going to jump into it. Oh, the drummer has arrived. Barney is here, and he's first the Cohen, then a drummer. All right, guys, welcome aboard. So we are live on TikTok, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch. I think I still have 2 people on Twitch. Yeah. Okay. And those that are watching, if you could put your volume off so it doesn't interrupt. All right, let's jump into it. Last week we spoke about the 10 commandments, right? God gave the 10 commandments on Mount Sinai. This week, we don't waste any time. We jump into a Torah portion called Mishpatim, which means ordinances, laws. And we start getting many different laws about what is expected of us as Jewish people. How many commandments are there in the Torah? If you know the answer, put it in the comments. You know the answer, let us know. How many laws are there in the Torah? 613. How many Torah portions are there? 52? 53. 3. And how many laws are in this week's Torah portion? What did I say before? 50? There's about, I wrote it down before. I think, there's 53. So of the 613 commandments, 53 are packed in this week's Torah portion called Mishpatim. And we're going to talk about all different kind of laws. And we're not even going to cover all of them because we only have another 40 minutes together. But we're going to jump into a few. We're going to try to understand them. And not only are we going to learn the law, but we're also going to try to discuss some spirituality behind the law. Because over here, we don't just learn the body of the Torah. We learn the soul of the Torah, which is called Kabbalah. So we're going to try to go a little deeper as well. Now, I know those online love to throw a billion questions. I'm not going to be able to answer all your questions right now, but if you stick around at the end, sometimes I answer your questions. Yes, Jethro did tell Moses, you can't do it alone. Okay, Mishpatim. 53 laws are written. And the Torah begins with the word Ve'ele HaMishpatim, and these are the ordinances. And the rabbis jump in right here because there's a big question. Why does it say, and these are the ordinances? It's the beginning of a Torah portion. They should just say, these are the ordinances. The sages answer a very simple but beautiful idea. What did we read before? The 10 Commandments last week. Don't think that we have 10 commandments that are big and then we have the rest of the mitzvahs that are just suggestions. No, it's a continuation. And these are the ordinances. This Parsha Mishpatim is telling us that everything we're going to learn right now is not a suggestion. It's just as important as the 10 commandments. You can't pick and choose. Ve'ele, and these are the ordinances. Okay. The first thing we speak about is the laws of slavery. Slavery? How backwards? How old-fashioned? How can the Torah, how could we respect a book that talks about slavery? The Torah speaks about slavery. You would think in the year 2026, if you're talking about slavery and you're reading that book, you should get rid of that book. So how do we as modern human beings look into an ancient text about slavery and not discredit the whole thing? So I'd like to just start by saying that the laws, first of all, slavery was a thing back in the day. It was completely normal. But to have a slave, according to the laws of the Torah, as we will read, there are many rules about how you have to treat your slave. Eventually, when the slave would be free, the sages would say, actually, the master would be the one that's free, not the slave. Why? Because there's so many rules on how you have to treat the slave with dignity and respect that in some ways, the master was the slave, that he has to feed a certain level of food and housing, so on and so forth. So I would actually substitute the word slave because it's for our language. I would almost use the word employee, but an employee with a very good contract because they get housing and food as well. By the way, according to the Jewish law, if you're eating steak for dinner, you can't give your slave beans. Yeah, you got to give your slave what you're eating. Yeah, you can't be eating caviar and he's eating, hot dogs like we're serving here. That's why here we give everyone hot dogs. The rabbi, the congregation, slaves, everyone gets hot. Anyway, you were going to say something. I'm sorry. Yes. All right. So we have the written Torah, we have the oral Torah. The oral Torah learns it out from all the details of how it says the words and how you have to treat them. And that's what the Talmud does. It doesn't just give people's opinion. They show how the Torah hints to these things as well. Don't just say, you say you have slaves. No, we do not have slaves. The same Torah that the Christians and the Muslims follow uses the word slaves. But the Torah's definition of a slave is so strict that even the master has to take very good care of such a person. And really the master is a slave. But if you want to twist my words, you can. It's a free country. At least here, you're probably, I don't know, from messaging from Iran or Iraq, and it's not very free over there. Please God, they should be free soon. Rabbi, you're a mensch, you're humble, and you're kind. Yeshikov, thank you. I am very humble. You're right about that. if I say so myself. Okay. Now, the Torah says if you have a Jewish slave and he worked for you for 6 years and he wants to go free. So what you have to do is, first of all, he has to go free. Now, again, because we don't understand what slavery was back in the day, it's hard to understand. Many times a slave wanted to stay a slave. Why? Because I got a roof over my head. My master eats caviar. I eat caviar. I got 3 square meals a day. I do my work. I can't be overworked. It's a good life. If I stop working here, I go out to the street. In those days, there was no food stamps. There was no social services. You walked out in the street, you starved. People died every day in public view. It was just not enough to go around. So a Jewish slave is only allowed to work according to the Torah for 6 years, and then he has to go free. But what happens if he wants to? Right, Shemitah, 7th year. So what happens if he wants to give? Right. Now, what happens if he wants to go free? If he doesn't want to go free? So the Torah says there's a ceremony where the slave's ear is pierced on the lintel of the door. Is that the lintel? Yeah, you give him a little piercing. And this ceremony is done to, and the sages say, the ceremony is done to send a message. God said on Mount Sinai, I am the Lord your God. I am your master. You're choosing as a human being to allow another person to be your master. Now the Torah allows it because the Torah understands that through much of history, people needed the security of working for someone. But it's not encouraged. And what you see from here is an interesting idea in Judaism, that we are encouraged to go venture out on our own to be successful. You would think a religious doctrine, so does Judaism want you to be rich, or does Judaism want you to be poor? But you might think a religious doctrine would say, just be humble, don't amass excessive wealth or property, just be simple. And it's interesting that in the Torah portion, we read about the person who's a slave for 6 years and he wants to stay as a slave, and the Torah does not encourage it. The Torah doesn't like the idea of a human being limiting their potential. If you venture out and build a business, a community, a following, you could have a very big impact on the world. If you live your life with a small, narrow mindset of just surviving, how could you change the world? How could we heal the world with such a mindset? So from here, you actually see a culture, an encouragement of encouraging people to be successful. Yes, Barney. So you could do mitzvahs, because everyone knows a kosher pair of tefillin ain't cheap. And Passover, definitely not cheap. And kosher chicken's going up in price. Yeah. Yes. I'm cherry picking some of the 53 laws that was written in this week's parsha. All right. And then we speak about an interesting law. What does the Torah say if your dog bites someone or bites someone else's dog? Are you liable? Or do you say it was the dog? So hold your horses. Let's talk about the law of the Shar Muad, the goring ox. And the Torah says as follows. This is in Exodus 21:37. The Torah says as follows. If you have an ox and it gores someone or someone's animal or causes damage, the law is you pay half the damages. Why half? Because domesticated animals are generally considered to be harmless, generally. It happens once, you pay, but you don't pay everything. You say, listen, it wasn't me. I'm sorry. It was an accident. I don't know. My bull got stung by a bee, by a wasp. It happens again, you pay half damages. But if it happens 3 times, your animal enters a new place, and it's called a shar muad. This is for damages, though. This is not for killing people. This is for damages. It's called a shar muad. What happens is you pay full. Why? Because once this happens 3 times, we label this animal as a dangerous animal. It happened twice. You should be tying it up. Yeah, but the neighbor's not tying up his bull. The neighbor's bull hasn't done this yet. And so that's the responsibility. That's the law. It's interesting. Many of these laws are the foundation of the legal system we have in the world today. In America, in many countries. A lot of this law was first written down in the Torah. That we have a responsibility for our animals, for our property. We don't just allow things to happen and say, oops. Oh, got good music here. What's the law if an animal bites? So today we don't live in a Torah society with rabbinical courts. You'd probably end up in secular court. But if you did go to a rabbinical, you lived in and you chose to go to a rabbinical court, they're going to rule based on the Torah. Yeah. I think a lot of it is in line with this. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but I'm not a lawyer. But if any lawyers are here, I think a lot of it lines up. Yeah. What happened? Across the board, the same way? Right. Yeah. Right. It will be very interesting to see the American legal law on these topics. So we studied the regular law, but what we like to do is also analyze these laws, not just in practicality of animals hurting, destroying property, but what does this mean? So the sages compare this whole story to the human behavior as well. You see, each and every one of us, some people are thinking, how does it apply to me? I don't own any cattle. But every one of us, according to the Tanya, we learned this in the past, has 2 souls, a godly soul and an animal soul. And the animal soul is not assumed to be bad. Selfish, yes. Comfort seeking, yes, but not evil. However, if not tamed, a person's animal soul can become evil. All we need to do is turn on the news and you'll learn about all different kinds of people whose animal souls have taken control of them. First time, second time, it's understandable that we slip because we're human beings and we are being pulled in two different directions. The godly soul wants God, the animal soul wants physical stuff. Fine. But what happens when we start to do behavior not once, but not twice, but three times? I'm disrespectful to people in my life. I'm dishonest with people in my life. I'm selfish to people. I don't look at other people's needs. Such a person suddenly is falling into a dangerous category. We're allowing our animal to become a shar muad. If we don't work on ourselves, the innocent animal soul that's just a little self-centered could become dangerous. We don't have to look far to see people who are so focused on their own desires and wants, they completely trample on people around them. Yeah, just open the newspaper. The way people behave. Yeah. You're talking about the Epstein case? Yeah. We put out some content this week. How many of the 10 Commandments did Epstein violate? Ooh, I got a lot of comments on that one. A lot of Jewish people like messaged me like, why did you do that? There's enough anti-Semitism. Meanwhile, other people, Jewish people said to me, it's so good you said something because something had to be said. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I have ignored it? Or said it what it is? Yeah, it's an embarrassment. He happened to be Jewish. Obviously, you can't judge. Right. Yeah. Right. Right. I think everyone agrees that what was done was evil. And then beyond that, the politics, I don't get it. Yeah. Right. Well, so someone wrote to me, and what do you have to say about that? Almost like insinuating that that we are responsible because one person did that. And I think it was last week. I said I don't have to respond. Like that's ridiculous. But I was actually thinking deeper about it since then. And here's my thought. My thought is that Kol Yisrael Arevim Zelazeh, all the Jewish people are responsible for one of another. Now, we don't have to explain it, and it doesn't mean we're all guilty, but actually it's a very deep concept. We are all responsible one for another, which means if we see someone like that, we have to step up and stop them. We can't just let them do whatever they want, say it's none of my business. At the same time, we can't be blamed for it. That's definitely not right. But the fact that the anti-Semite comes running and says, one of you people did it, to me, shows that they understand one of the deepest truths in the world, that we are all connected in a very, very powerful way. And maybe they see it in a more of a, what's the word? A nasty way. Yeah. The world makes it so clear how we are all a Ravim Zelazeh, because just look at the people's reaction when one Jew does something bad, many over. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the point I was making. Very good. Well said. You said it well. Oh, wow. You just said my point. Okay. Thank you, Mandy. Problem like when happened was ignored. So you were not wrong. You're saying, see, I didn't know about that, but if you're saying it was ignored, then no, there's no excuse for something like it actually went on for a very long time. Again, pinning it on the Jewish people is ridiculous. Anywho, here's an interesting halacha you won't find in the Torah, but if you continue, oh, look, it's here. But if you continue studying the Talmud, it tells us, can a shar muad ever be rehabilitated? Murray, were you reading? Were you ringing the side door? Oh, I didn't hear it. I'm sorry. I apologize. You have to walk all around. All right. Yeah. So here's the question: can a goring ox ever be rehabilitated? And the Talmud says yes. There's one scenario where you could reset the ox, and he's no longer considered a shar muad. What is the situation? If the ox is sold to a new owner and moved to a new location. Jewish law says in such a scenario, the ox is reset, and we don't assume it's going to gore because we'll attribute its behavior to its other location. I don't know, maybe it was living on a beehive, or maybe he doesn't like the kind of oats the owner gave him. But if there's a new owner, the shar muad resets, and now if he gores again, not until he does it 3 times is he considered a shar muad. But what spiritual lesson can we learn from this? Barney, what were you going to say? And goes to another farm. You always responsible for half the damages, right? But yeah, it starts again. We give him another shot, changing of the place. So the spiritual lesson we learn from this, and this is what's really, I think this is really a beautiful concept. How do we as human beings reset our shar muad or goring ox status? The answer is, if we want to break free of negative behavior, of addiction, of negative thought processes, negative actions, want to break free, oftentimes one of the most effective ways to do this is to change our place or our routine. So if we change, well, yeah, definitely go move to a new place. That's major. But even on a smaller level, if we, let's say my problem is I binge watch television. There's actually studies have shown people that have problems, let's say binge watching television, what they would do is, and they'd come home and say, I'll never do it again, right? But they keep doing it. They unplug the television and they put it on the other side of their house. And just that action many times is the little secret ingredient that allows a person to switch. Now, once you have a good habit that you do for 3 times, it becomes a chazaka. Now you could continue doing it. But oftentimes we can't even get to 3 times because I come home and there's the TV and there's the beer and I want to sit down and let my mind get numb. Not me, I don't drink beer. I only drink whiskey and vodka. But anyway, yes. So in another idea is for a person that wants to change their way, change our place. Go to a more wholesome place. Let's say after work, I sit home and I waste my time with unhealthy activity. Go to a place that's holy. Go to a place that's wholesome. Spend time in a volunteering. Go to a food pantry. Go to an old age home. Visit people that need to. Go to shul. This is the advertisement for the synagogue. Come to shul, daven. When we switch our location, it's easier for us to reset our animal soul, and that's a very good tactic for any of us that are struggling with that. All right. Binge watching television. Someone just says, I binge watch Rabbi Raps. Well, that you could do. That's okay. Anyway, the people who went to Epstein. Okay, what about them? They destroyed the lives of many young people in unimaginable ways. So you're saying the people who were guilty of being with Epstein and doing all the horrible things. Listen, it's shocking. It's shocking it went on for so long, and how could people do it, and how could people know, and did they know? These are right. These are questions that we're going to let the authorities figure out. Definitely beyond my scope. Oh, what's the next law? Oh, the Torah says, when you see the enemy of your donkey crouching under its load, you must help it. My enemy's my enemy's donkey is falling under its load. I don't like my enemy. I don't care for his donkey. Right? Let them all suffer. Torah says, no. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing and help the animal. I guess you have a level of compassion for animals. You have a level of responsibility, a level of you don't like he's your enemy, but you be the better man or woman. That's the law. However, what I do want to talk about is not just the law, but the Hasidic teaching, the spiritual message behind the law. This goes back to the founder of the Hasidic movement, the Baal Shem Tov. He says we have to look at this law as literally what it says, but we have to understand it deeper as well. What does that mean? Your enemy's donkey. How do you say donkey in Hebrew? Chamor. Very good. Chamor is from the same word as materialism. Chomer. Chomer means material. What's your enemy's materialism? The answer is your animal soul's needs, your body's needs. Again, Kabbalah, Tanya says you have two souls. A godly soul, it wants God. An animal soul that wants to enjoy life. And they're in the same body, and there's this war. So the godly soul is trying to take control of our mind, our thought, our speech, our action. But so is the animal soul. So he's your enemy. But then you see that the body is falling under its load, which means you need more sleep, you need more food, you need some exercise. So the spiritual person will say, I am not giving in to this physicality. I am not going to become weak and allow the body to have all these pleasures. I am going to hold back and stay up all night and study Torah. I'm going to sit with my shoulders hunched for hours and study Torah. And food, I'll eat a slice of bread with some salt, and that's it. Comes along the Baal Shem Tov and says, no, 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 no. Help the animal soul. Help the body. We have a responsibility to help the body. And the body then becomes a tool for God, a vehicle for God. It's interesting that in Hasidic tradition, you don't see a lot of this idea of people fasting extra fasts. This idea of people, first of all, in other religions, you have people that hit themselves, right? They hit themselves, they harm the body, beat the body. This is not a Jewish concept. The body is the vehicle of the soul. We have to sleep, we have to eat, we have to exercise, we need breaks, not too much, but enough to function properly. And so God says, you see the enemy, the donkey of your enemy, surely help it, help the body. The godly soul versus the animal soul. The animal soul is connected to the physical. The animal soul cares about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and 7 snacks in between. Right? There's an interesting Hasidic tradition that's kind of controversial. It goes against Shulchan Aruch. According to the simple understanding of the Code of Jewish Law, one is not allowed to eat before prayer. Now, in the yes, Barney. Wait. According to the Hasidic tradition, someone is supposed to eat something light, specifically eat something light before davening. Why? And the expression goes as follows. For those who understand Yiddish, you'll really appreciate it. Besser davenin far essen as essen far davenin, which translates as, right, you understand it. It's better to eat far, which means before you pray, than to pray far so that you can eat. So a person could really put their mind into the prayer, you could eat a little bit. And this is the Hasidic tradition. And perhaps this is the reason why when I go to Israel and I'm walking to shul and I'm going to a Hasidic shul, which normally starts at 9, 10 o'clock, I see all these people walking out of the shuls. They went to shul at 7 in the morning. So now they're coming to have their Shabbos lunch at 9 a.m. Why? Because I can't eat anything. What, I'm going to wait until 1 o'clock? I can't eat anything, drink anything? They take it very seriously. And listen, respect to them. Yeah. Why? Because the simple law really is, you're not supposed to eat. Now we translate it as a meal and they'll translate it as a nothing. This is right, it's not in the Torah. It's a rabbinic interpretation. Yeah. And so obviously we're interpreting it as not a meal, but they're interpreting it literally. But that's why now there's another reason why Hasidim pray later in the day and not at 7 in the morning. And the reason is we study something called Hasidus. It's like it warms up the soul. It's like spiritual teachings. For us, you can't pray unless you warm up your heart, your mind by studying deeper ideas. So we learn Hasidus. So if you're going to wake up and learn Hasidus for an hour, so your davening is pushed off an hour or so. Some people learn for 2 hours, for 3 hours in the morning. Right, to prepare themselves. It's like you don't go to the gym, start throwing around the big weights, right, without stretching. Yeah, that's the reason why you have a drush before, but not just the drush, not just studying anything, specifically studying esoteric teachings, which would warm the heart for prayer. Learning about how to slaughter a chicken and, if you cut the windpipe or the jugular, that's not going to warm the soul. That's halacha, that's law. So it's specifically esoteric teachings that are meant to warm the soul. Yeah. Right. That's the right way to do it. Follow Rabbi Rap for humans. Yeah, it's humans for Noah, actually. I teach a Torah.
people guys, there's so many questions here. I missed them.
I apologize. Anyway, friends, thank you for joining us. Um, Next week, we're going to, oh, so I was telling everyone, next week, we're going to do class. It's going to be a little shorter, from 7:30 to 8. We're going to study about the Parsha and about Purim a little bit. And then at 8 o'clock, we're going to do a Hamantash baking workshop, led by Rebbetzin Tova, my mom, the challah lady. And hear this, she is allowing the men to join the workshop. Yeah. Yes, that's good. If we, oh yeah, if they find the kitchen, no, we're gonna be, yeah. Now, Chaya, I have a lot of questions for you, and you don't have to answer me now, but we are doing, this year we decided the theme of our Purim party is Purim in Persia, like the original Purim. And and we're decorating this room. I'm bringing in a design team. They are coming in with ladders and curtains. They're going to transform the room. The only question is, what should the menu be? So we need some suggestions for a Persian kosher menu. Okay. Um, Rice. Is it just a Sephardi menu, or is there uniquely Persian foods? Okay. Okay. And can you come here and do it for us? Can we fly you in? Can we fly you in? Or maybe on Zoom. I'll put you on Zoom. I'll put you on Zoom and you'll tell me what to do? Okay, got it. Falafel, falafel shawarma, got it. Okay. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm hungry. And by the way, the reason why we're doing Purim in Persia this year is this is our way to show our support for the Persian people who are right now going through a terrible circumstance. And we do a theme in last year was Purim in Israel, different themes, different years, but this year we want to show our support. God willing that they should be free. Hamatash. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any questions? Steve, we need you to bake the sourdough bread. Do Persian people eat sourdough bread? Now we, oh, that's a great idea. I have a great idea. We could get like one of those barrels and let the people actually make pita. Can I do it indoors or am I going to burn the place down? I could do it indoors. We could do it. I like that. I like that. We're going to do it. Okay. We'll make pitas right there. Hope no one burns their fingers. Oh, yeah, next week. Yes. Yes. I would love to see you. Absolutely. I can bring you some recipes from Persian Jewish Israel mom of my friend, Avi. Yeah, please send it my way. We need some Persian recipes. Okay. But it has to be very simple. If it has more than 3 ingredients, I'm not qualified. Yeah,
honestly.
okay. Well, how do I do shawarma? I need to buy a special machine, no? Actually, we have, in the restaurant, we have a shawarma machine. I wonder if we could bring it here and do that.
You're right.
Well, we would just make we make a big buffet, a thing of shawarma meat, this, and we tell the people, roll up your sleeves and do your own sandwich. Thank you. All right. Sei gesund, be well, everyone. Shalom. Good Shabbos. All the best. Bye-bye now. You could say good Shabbos on a Wednesday. It's fine. Rabbi, let me join. Richard, yeah, for sure. Come join. That's the problem. They're closed. Not even visits to the synagogue. Who's Kyvie Irving? I have no idea who that is. Antique. If you'd like, nice. Okay. Yeah, we'll be setting up. Yeah. Right. No, half hour is fine. Yeah. Okay. All right.